Hi everybody, this is Michelle Sizemore. I'm a Creative Memories Advisor, and today you'll learn how to make this easy border using our border cutting tools. These are pretty new with Creative Memories. This is the border cutting tool that I'm going to use. I don't really need the pattern that goes with it. And then we use cardstock and a white jelly pen. So the cardstock colors that we used are just blue, green, cranberry, and black. And I've already pre-cut some of this, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So we're going to set this aside and grab my mat and my border cutting tool and my red blade. So I need to cut, I've made myself some notes here, one edge of this with the wavy line, and I'm going to line it up with this far right white mark here and line it up at the top along this grid line. So just to make sure it's straight on that side and the top. There we go. And then I'm just going to line this up so that I don't waste much cardstock. My red blade is going to come close to the template. So I'm going to cut about right here. You want both of these two little things that stick out to be in your track. There's a little track right here. Oops. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to press firmly and cut. You kind of have to press a little extra hard when you go through the curves, just to make sure it goes all the way through. And then I'm going to take this away, and you can always use this for something else. Now, I'm going to move this in so that the far right side of this top part of my cutting tool right here lines up with the far right side that I just cut. And I want to make sure I don't move my black paper at all in between cuts. So I'm going to line this up so literally it's where I want it to be. The outside edge of this lines up with the top right side of what I just cut out. And it's straight all the way down. Well, it's curvy, but it's straight the way it's placed. I'm going to put my two little notches in there, and I'm going to cut again. And this is to cut my road. So now I have my black wavy road. Now I've already put my white lines on this one, so I'm going to use this one to show you just to save time, but I want to show you how I got those little white lines. I used this jelly pen from Creative Memories. Before I use it, I want to just kind of color on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure it's not globby or anything and it's working well, and it is. And then you just put little dashes all the way down the center of your road, and you go with the curves when you do them, like that. Okay, and then this is what it looks like when you're done. Let me put it up a little bit closer. Just my little white dashes all the way down, going along with the curve. And then the rest is so easy. You just, well, you have to, I'm thinking about having the cars already cut out, but you have to punch out your cars. I've already done it, but I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, I need two of each color, so I don't need to cut a whole row of cars. I just need a couple of each color. So first thing I want to do is get a good straight edge on my scrap paper. I always use my scrap paper first before I start using a new piece of paper. So I'm going to just line that up at the top. Grab some water. Okay, and I want to cut to get a straight line. And I'll save that piece with my scraps. I'll throw that away. I don't really picture using that. Okay, so then I'm going to take this road trip border punch. It's a car, it's like an SUV car with trees. And I'm going to just cut twice with it because I just need 2 red cars. So I'm going to line my cardstock up with this little black line right here to start. Before I do, I want to clean it out because I've been using it. So I'm just going to punch it a little bit, knock it a little bit to make sure nothing's caught up in there. Now I'm going to put my cardstock in there. I'm going to start at that black line right there. Make sure it's straight across at this little edge right here and punch. And then scoop out my scraps. Then bring it down and match up my pattern. I cover all the blue parts to where you only see silver, and that means it's time to cut again. Make sure it's very straight at that edge and punch. So I only need 2 red cars, and I don't care if I tear the trees because I'm not going to use those. So that's all I need to cut, and I cut this out of the red or the cranberry, the blue, and the green, and then I get all of my cars. And I've already actually cut out the little cars, but I'm going to show you how I cut the cars out to make them work. So I don't want the trees, not for this layout. So I'm going to just cut those off and then just cut the outline of the car. So I'm just literally going to cut around where the car should be because the car and the trees kind of merge in together. And then I'm going to just go around the bottom of the wheels to make that bottom part separate off. There's a little indented edge right there. I just want to clean up just a little bit. And then go around these wheels. And then I kind of just need to round it off a little bit. And y'all, this actually works better with micro scissors. So I didn't think about that. I'm going to grab those. These are like little sharp scissors and they're great. Both of our scissors are great, but for little intricate things, I really do love these micro scissors. And then I'm just going to round off just a little bit so you don't have sharp, pointy edges. And make it look like the SUV should look. And I see some little pointy edges on that wheel. Yeah, I thought about adding some black on the wheels to make my wheels black. And then I thought, no, I'm not doing that because then you can't even see them because they end up going on top of the road. So I just left them the color of the little car. So I would cut out another red one, 2 green ones, and 2 blue ones. So I've already done that to save some time. And then I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. That'll take me just a sec. Now you could put this on any kind of background you want. I just chose to put it on white for teaching purposes, but you could use it with a travel collection, have some coordinating paper or whatever you like. And then we're going to mount this road down, you know, like at the bottom of your page. You can put it at the top too, but I'm going to put it at the bottom. I'm going to grab my mat and use my tape runner on top of it, and I'm going to use the repositionable tape runner. And just put some dabs. I want to hit every curvy part and each edge. And then I'm going to mount it so that my little white dots are on top so that you can see them. And then just mount this down. And I see it comes out a tiny bit past this white. This is actually a piece of scrap paper, but I'm just going to cut it off just to make it even with the edge. It doesn't look like a scrap paper, but it is. There was a little bit cut off of it. I didn't realize. Okay, and then you just add your cars. So it's so super easy. So I'm going to put my sample here. And then I'm not going to do the whole thing because I'm just going to put one car on here and then show you how to do the rest. So I'm going to put repositionable tape runner generously on the back. When you are dealing with little intricate cutout things that have holes in them, I believe it's very important to use this repositionable tape runner because it comes out in little clear dots. It only sticks to where it needs to stick to, so you don't have any adhesive poking out to see. Now, I do see that I want to just round off this wheel just a little bit. It's a little pointy. There we go. Okay, and then you just stick your car down. So I'm going to put this one here. Now, I see that I think I put the road upside down from the way it is here, which is absolutely fine. The curves are just in different places, but it still looks like a curvy road. And so I'm going to just kind of mount it so that the wheels are just at the edge where all the black is shown through, so you don't see white through there. And then I would alternate red, green, blue, red, green. And then I would be done with my border. So it's pretty quick to do, pretty easy to do. And I do want to show you a little trick. I did find, and I'm going to grab a piece of this just to show you. I don't usually use this gel pen. So one thing I learned about it, or at least my experience was, when I was trying to draw my little lines, I would kind of end up, sometimes I would get them too close together, and sometimes I would end up where there was almost like a little dot on the end. I don't know if you can tell, like that. Like when I pick up the pen, it almost like it put a little bit of extra ink there. So what I chose to do is just take my black Creative Memories pen, the round tip side, and whenever I saw that I did that, I just kind of went over it with black. Or one time I got my dashes too close together and you could almost barely see they were divided. So I would just go through the middle of them and cover up however much of my little dash that I wanted to with my black pen, and you couldn't even tell because I did that in a number of places on here, and then I didn't have to start over. So that was just a little trick that I learned to kind of fix my mistakes. Honestly, see, like right there, I don't know if you can tell, but there's that little edge almost has a little white dot. It's like when I pick the pen up, it leaves just a little bitty glob. So maybe it's just me and I don't know how to use them very well. So anyway, I just covered that up. And then you can't even tell. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And I think this was a cute border for road trips, camping trips. I can picture it on my trips to Denver to go see my daughter. Often I'll rent a car and I'll just, when she's working during the day, I'll take off driving and just hit the road. And I could see me using this border like with some things that make me think of Denver, some papers and things. And I just think it's super cute. Y'all have a great day.